One thing I do appreciate about the game is that it's not a direct copy and paste of the movie. And that's kind of a problem I've had with some games because some games just tend to say, hey, we need to make this certain scene or level just like the movie. And that can get really old very fast because it's kind of the been there, done that sort of thing. But this game takes a chance with it. It's not afraid to say, hey, we're going to do our own thing at the beginning. Granted, towards the end, it becomes like the movie, but it knows how to balance between giving something new and being like its source material. So I give every credit to Activision for that, as well as Treyarch.
The graphics for the game are really, really well done. Definitely depicts New York very, very well. But there are a couple things about the graphics that I wish could be improved. For one, I really wish that they depicted more of New York rather than a few of the buildings. Also, I really wish that there was more life and variety to New York and make it a living, breathing place. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 3 did it well, so why can't this game? Because New York just feels like it doesn't have any life to it, and most of the time you're spent on the air, but not on the ground. But other than that, the graphics are really, really well done. The character models and a few of the animations are also really well done. Everybody looks like they should from the movie, and a couple of the voice acting is really well done. You'll recognize that Tobey Maguire does his voice, and also Willem Dafoe does his voice too. And their character models really add to how they look, and I think they depict them really, really well in this game. Yes, I am aware that people do think that Tobey Maguire sounds tired when he does the voice, but to me personally, he doesn't do that bad. He really doesn't. For me though, where the game really shines is in its cutscene animation. Holy heck, these are awesome. They're well put together. They carry the realistic and comic book tone of the comics, and I think that's how the movie will carry it out too. But these are just fantastic. They're really well done, and the voice acting really adds to the characters themselves, almost as if you're watching a later made director's cut of the film or a bootleg version. That's how great the graphics are. Or should I say, a dang great bootleg. While they're not the greatest graphics in the world, they're definitely really well done. The cutscenes really add to the tone of both the film and the comics. The character models look like they should, and the voice acting for this game is really, really well done. But to me, the gameplay, this is how you do a movie license game. Mr. E.T., I'm looking at you. Gameplay in the game is basically the usual thing Spider-Man would do. What else is there to say? You go around and you're conjoined to a specific area, so it's not like a free roam like Grand Theft Auto 3. But basically, you go into a place and you're given a specific objective. You can beat people up, as you see I'm doing right now. And the combat for this game is worth the mention because it is really, really, really well done. Right here, as you can see, I'm picking up a freaking oil can and I'm able to throw this at some guy. Who knew Spider-Man would use projectiles? Last thing I remember him doing in the comics was pulling a guy's gun back and breaking it. But you get millions of projectiles to throw. Environmental stuff can be used too. As you see right here, I'm able to throw this. And there's specific combos you can use too. And if you don't know the combat, you can go to the pause menu and look at it here. So if you think you need to write it down, no way. Isn't that convenient? There's also a couple moments in the game that revolve around stealth. And the stealth portions of the game, you can choose to beat the guy up if he sees you. And as you can see, the Spidey sense is useful this time, and other times it is because when something happens, for example, like a guy is trying to kill you with a forklift, that'll turn on. So the Spidey sense in this game is used really well. But stealth portions in the game are also really well done. It doesn't really end once the guy touches the alarm, like Splinter Cell. But when he touches the alarm, and for example in this part, a bunch of robots will come and kill you. And at times, like, one thing I do need to bring up is that at times the control does feel clunky and stiff in some parts because you really have to get used to it. And at times, I don't really know, but it just feels like at points it works, but other points it just kind of feels like it turns off its mind and really doesn't work. So that's one of the biggest problems I have with this game is definitely the control, because in some parts it works, in some parts it really just kind of turns off its mind, like, duh, what am I supposed to do now? But it doesn't really bother me.
It would bother me more if the controls stopped working, but it's fine. It really is fine. There are other points, though, where it just comes annoying and it just really makes you want to break your disc.
Another aspect in Spider-Man, obviously, is boss battles, where you'll fight each villain, one of which is in the movie, the others are not. Obviously, the Green Goblin, who will be in the movie. But also, the game introduces Shocker and Vulture, as well as Scorpion. Well, Scorpion really starts off as not really a boss battle, you're just defending him, but then he suddenly attacks you because he's crazy. That's all I can say, and that's pretty much how they're hinting it. But the bosses themselves are really, really well done, and this is where my love for the game starts. Being as I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, the bosses are used really well. I like the fact that each of their abilities are used to a T, and you'll see every ability that the villain has in the comics is used in this film in a great manner, and they don't waste the whole abilities that they use, and they use them very well. They're not just like, hey, it's there, and people are just like, that's waste of time. But this game does it really well. It makes great use of the villains, and they really establish their abilities well in the game, and they put up a dang good fight. For example, right here, the Green Goblin is one of the hardest bosses I had to play in a game. Definitely is up there with one of the hardest.
So overall, the game is really, really well done. Definitely a good merchandise for the movie. However, it does have its problems.
One of the aspects of this game that I really, really hate is these stupid following missions, because they just get so dang annoying. Like right here, as you can see, I'm trying to go this way, and the lock-on's like right there, and right there, you'll just slam into a wall, because the lock-on is so poor that it is just hard to catch the villain. And look at that, I lost.
Well, not poor on the ground missions, more poor on the web-slinging parts. Other than that, another problem that I do have with this game is that New York does not feel alive. As I said, and from what you saw, New York doesn't really feel like a living, breathing world, because this game, it's just so bland and forgettable, and it really doesn't offer much. There's not really a lot of weather effect there. It's just really run-of-the-mill, generic level. That's basically how it is. Despite a few good-looking graphics, just really doesn't offer much, other than just a few guys there to beat up. I just wish there was more life to it. Because you look at games like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Twisted Metal Black and Jak and Daxter, the precursor Legacy, released a year before this, all of which had great level design, and I think were carried out really, really well, because they felt like that there was life there to it, and it wasn't just the graphics. This, however, doesn't have that great life to it that I think those games do. Also, probably the most annoying thing about this game is the frickin' time limit missions. I'm not joking with you. There are points in this game where something is timed. For example, there's a point in the game where you have to disarm bombs set by the Green Goblin, who wants to gas all of New York, and you are set on a time limit. And I swear to God, this friggin' time limit is so friggin' unfair. It is Superman 64 hard. It is that hard. I literally wanted to punch a wall playing this. It is that bad. But other than that, Spider-Man is one of the better movie licensed games that I've played, and it definitely makes me more pumped to see the movie. It's definitely really well done, and the fact that it makes it more pumped really is saying something, because a lot of movie license games that I have played really detract me from seeing the movie than going to see it because of how bad the game is. Because if a game is that bad, movie could be that bad. But other than that, Spider-Man really does its job. It has really well done voice acting. It honors the film while honors its source material, and I think it really does it well. So if you want a good movie license game and are pumped to see Spider-Man, definitely recommend you check out Spider-Man the game. It's a great game. And it's definitely a great way to bring Spider-Man to the next generation. I hope we see more from Spider-Man, and I hope they're just as good as this game. Overall, I give Spider-Man an 8 out of 10, and it deserves it. It's definitely one of the best movie license games that I've played, and definitely a really well done one, with that said. But yeah, I'm pumped for the movie, and be sure to see a review for it in 2 weeks on my other channel, Peter Freakout 10. I put a link for it in the description below, and on May 5th, that review will be on there, and be sure to check it out. But that's my review for Spider-Man, and I'll see you guys later. Next time I might either review Grand Theft Auto 3 or something else, but time will tell. I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you guys think of Spider-Man in the comments below, and be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks for joining me on Game Time with Peter.